So I was just petting Moose, and his face was priceless. And I tried to get it on camera. I really did. But it was like, Because I was scratching him, and he had his head against my leg. And he was just like, And I said out loud, I was like, there was an owner that was very hesitant for me watching his dog, because he said he's used to very formal things. He's used to bringing his dog to a kennel. He's really attached to this dog. His wife picked it out. She saw it in a newspaper. He's an older man. She saw it in a newspaper. And she said, that dog. He said, how do you know by a picture? She said, that dog. So he went and got her. Her name is Grace. Gracie? Grace. I think it's Grace. I don't know. It's been a while. I was going to watch her over Easter. But he was hesitant. So he said he kept his reservations. Why does it have a line there? There's a line on my camera. So he kept his reservations at the Tailwag Inn. And by the sound of things, it's not going to be very pleasant for the dog. So, while I was scratching Moose, I said out loud, I was like, you can either have your dog like this, and I was admiring his face, or you can put him in a cage. Alone. Yeah. I'd much rather have my dog like that. It was priceless. Oh my God, it was priceless. Hopefully it happens again. He'll be here for a couple weeks. He's doing a lot better though. Last time I watched him, he pooped in my house. All the time. But he is obsessed with clothes. Yes. Like I have my gloves. These are compression gloves. They're not winter gloves. They're compression gloves. And they're actually, I didn't realize how good they felt, to be honest with you, until now. They're tight. You take them off, you have lines on your skin. But yeah. Anyway, I had set them on the table. My nightstand that I made. I'll show you. Ooh. Yeah, I made this. I made that shop class. Yeah, shop 1. My junior year. And then I took shop 2. I need a haircut. I really do. Doesn't feel like a mop yet. So I just deal with it. Just different hairstyles going on here. Started out straight. Anyway, I took shop 2. And you can make whatever you wanted. So shop 1, you had to make nightstands. To me, this is a lot bigger than a nightstand. But, you know. So we all made nightstands. Second, if you wanted to take shop 2, you didn't have to take any of these classes. But if you took shop 2, you could pick whatever you wanted to pick. So I made matching dressers. They're in the other room. Anyway, they're big. They're really big. People ask me if I bought them. No, I made them. They were 2x4s, and they actually were bent wood, and they didn't look very good. There was just a stack of them in this building up top, and we'd had to get them down, and we made things out of them. I had to go back after seniors get out early. I had to go back and finish staining my wood, or putting finisher on it or something. No, it wasn't staining, because that was earlier. Yeah, I think I put finish. I think I chose cherry as the color. I don't remember. So I don't remember what color I picked. But anyway, they're stackable. There's 4 drawers on the one you stack on top. And then there's 2 big drawers at the bottom. So if you stack it on top, I can't see inside my underwear drawer. I can't. It is that high. I cannot see inside my underwear drawer. That's why I unstacked them. Even though you can see the screws. On the bottom one, you can see the screws. So I probably should get some things you could just... They do make those. I wonder if it'd match the color, though. Because it's on the top. Make little stick things that look like wood, and you stick them on there. Anyway. Now I don't know what I was talking about. But today was a good day. Today was a very good day. I got a text message this morning. Well, my morning. I get up at 11. Even though I woke up naturally like at 8:30. And then I go back to sleep. And then I don't wake up until like 11:30. But of course I'm up until like now. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, that's my normal routine. So I'm about to go to bed. Take a shower and go to bed. But I got a text message from Jody. Jody and Tim are Tiva's owner. Tiva's a dog I watch. I don't even remember. She's an Australian Kelpie, I think. As far as I remember that. I think that's what it is. Something Kelpie. Which I had never heard of that name before. I never heard that breed before. A Kelpie? She's a pretty dog. She was kind of scared of Moose, though. Moose is a big dog. And he just wants to play. He just wants to play. He's 18 months, you know, so he's full of energy. And she's just like, she's a medium-sized dog, but she's smaller than Moose. So Moose scared her, so I put Moose in his kennel. But anyway, Jody asked me if I wanted a queen-size bed and bed frame because they were downsizing. And she wanted to know if I wanted it for free. So yeah, sure, yeah. And then she asked me if I'd watch Tiva on the 10th and 11th. Which Moose's owner said he was going to drop him off on the 26th, which was yesterday, till the 10th or 11th. He said or. So I don't know. So I don't know how that's going to go. But I'll figure it out. Anyway, so they came over and brought me the bed. They did say it's a firm bed. I've never liked firm beds. But it could be beneficial. I don't know. Maybe it'll help my body. If not, whenever I get some money, I can get a soft thing to put on top of it. That's what I did at my dad's house. I'll probably actually have to do that. Because that bed did hurt me. My dad's bed was firm too. But I had to have that cushion. And I chose to wash my body pillow and my weighted blanket. And they are soaked. They are soaked. Yeah. I went down there and get them out. And half of my body pillow was wet. And then my comforter was wet. But then I saw a setting on the washer. It said spin only. I'm like, okay, cool. Spin only. That's what I need. Get the water out. Well, I went back down there. It's full of water. Spin only means, I guess that's all it does. But it fills up with water and just spins it. No. So hopefully the water is out of it and spinned, and then I could just take them out and drape them somewhere. I don't know. But I really needed those things. At least I have another weighted blanket. And I guess I could layer up pillows. I don't know. I do have a pregnancy pillow. I bought it so you can sit on your bed. You know, bed frame. I had a bed frame. This bed doesn't have a bed frame, so I'm gonna miss that part. I'm gonna miss my bed frame. I like the look of it. Anyway, you sit. It makes it like a chair. You put it against the wall. So I guess I could use that. Anyway, so they brought that over, and they brought over two. I don't know if you can see it. Those things. Dog beds, and they are thick, like memory foam. Like, yes, dogs are gonna be in heaven. Anyway, so they brought those two, and then they helped me. Tim took out the multicolored light bulbs. Oh my God! Thank God! Oh, thank God! It was driving me crazy. My ex put multicolored lights in my bedroom, in the spare bedroom, and in the hallway. And to get to the normal light color, it was like 15 of them. Like, I swear. I'm not exaggerating. There's at least 15 different light colors until you get back to the original. Anyway, so he helped me change those. And I finally had found the light bulbs. My ex had stashed them in the cupboard high, so I can't really see them. Anyway, there was 4 in there. 3 were regular type lights, and then Jody said the 4th one was like an appliance light. It was littler, so it's not as bright. And that's the one that we ended up putting in my room, because we just kind of handed them off, and that's the one I ended up giving them. I actually like it that way though, because in the spare bedroom is a regular light, and it is bright. Oh my God, it's bright. So yeah, I don't need that in my room. But I put my old bed in the spare bedroom, and then I put the blanket that I bought my dad. So I bought 2 blankets for my mom and 2 blankets for my dad. And I shipped them to Kansas, because that's where everybody lives. I'm out here in Oregon, and everybody lives in Kansas. Yep. So I shipped them to my dad. Well, it didn't go to my dad's address. It came here. So I tried to return them, and they said I could keep them, but they reimbursed my money. So I was able to buy them again and ship them to my dad. So we have identical blankets. So the blanket that I put on the bed has my favorite saying on it. Well, it's like the whole side of it is words. I'll probably take a picture of it and post it sometime. But anyway, it talked about, you know, my dad's wonderful, and you did this and that for me, and, you know, sign your little girl. Just basically praising him with words. Anyway, so I put that on the bed. And then I put, I have a pillow. I had a pillowcase made. I don't know how. Etsy, maybe? Etsy's like an app or website that makes things. I had my brother's wedding gift made on there out of wood. It was their names and the date they were married. Anyway, so I have this pillowcase, and it has my dad and my picture on the front, and at the bottom it says, "I love Dad." It was actually one of my profile pictures. I just took a screenshot of it. And then on the back side were my 4 pets at the time. Keedron, my pride and joy. He was a boxer. We had a very, very, very special connection. He got hit by a car. My last memory of him was in my rearview mirror when I went off to college. I came home on Thanksgiving, or for Thanksgiving, and Keitron wasn't there. But he knew about cars. That's the thing. He knew about cars. My dad lives out in the country. And nobody goes out there. He lives on a short strip road. A short strip road. And it's only his house is on there. So nobody really drives down that road. And my dad said it was starting to get dark. You know, the sun was starting to go down and stuff. And all the dogs stay outside. My dad does not allow dogs in the house unless it's freezing. Well, you know, if it's getting cold, he'll bring them inside. But no, if it's snowing and it's not below freezing, no, they stay outside. Anyway, Keitron was across the dirt road in a cornfield. Corn. Tall. Right? And it started right where I don't know if there's a ditch there. No, I don't think there's a ditch there. I think it's just straight the road and then corn, like immediate. And it was perfect timing. Keitron was running out of the cornfield, and that car hit him. My dad felt like he let me down. Yeah. When he told me, I pulled up. I was so excited. I wanted to see Keitron. I really did. I really wanted to see Keitron. He was my pride and joy. Oh my God, he was my pride and joy. I love Kovu. But nobody compares to Keitron. No. Anyway, so I got home, got to my dad's house, and I got out of the car, and all the dogs came to greet me. My dad has 2 dogs, and then Jaden, which is the other picture I'll tell you about, and Keitron. But Keitron didn't come to the car. So I looked around. I got out of the car and I looked around. I said, Dad, where's Keitron? And he had a footstool standing. He sat it in the front of his feet. My dad's like 6'1", 6'2". I'm 5'2". I got my mom's height. So he got a footstool, and he had a footstool in front of him. And he said, Lisa, come here. Okay. So I went up there. He said, come on. You know, I stepped up. And he told me Keitron died. Yep. He said that he had... Yeah, he told me he died. And I was like, I couldn't process it. Not really. My stepmom was telling me that she was about to leave and where she was going. And then later on, I asked my dad, where's Connie? And he said, she left. She went so-and-so, and she told you. I was like, I don't remember that. No, I do not remember that part. I remember her saying something or whatever, but no, I was not registering what she was saying. And my dad just hugged me, and we both cried. And then that Thanksgiving, I just kept looking out the window, because he would always stand at the door. My dad told me that the people that hit him, they came to his door and told him that they hit my dog. Or they're his dog. They didn't know what dog, you know. And immediately after they told him, he went out to the road and found Keitron in the grass on the other side of the shrubs, dead. At least he didn't suffer. But he did make it into the yard. Yeah. So my dad buried him. I really wish we had cremated him. But it had already happened. It had happened before Thanksgiving. But he didn't tell me because I was in school. I was pretty flustered my second half of my semester. The first half of my semester, my uncle died. He had a heart attack. Yep. Anyway, so the pillowcase. The second animal on there, it had Keitron, it had Jaden. Jaden was a chug, a Chihuahua pug mix. He had the face of a Chihuahua, little pug body, and a long tail, like a Chihuahua, and long hair. Oh, he shed. Oh my God. He shed. Oh my God. And he had a smell to him. I don't know why. But he always had a smell to him. Not a pleasant smell. Well, I got Jaden when he was 5 weeks old. They shouldn't have given him away. Not that soon. I got him for my birthday when I turned 23. Yeah, when I turned 23. And then I had my mental breakdown, my very first mental breakdown. So my hair turned gray. So I spent most of his life at my dad's house. Like, he started his life, his young life, so we really didn't have a bond. Me and Jaden, we never really developed a bond because he spent his time outside. And then I was going through, you know, I really didn't see the point of living and whatever. That was bad. So I didn't bond with him, really. He was a feisty dog, though. He was. He lived with me, you know, off and on, but his home, where he was used to, was at my dad's. And he seemed comfortable there. So when I was living back in Kansas last year, or 2 years ago, I don't remember. The apartment that I lived in, I only could have one dog. And I already had Kovo. And Kovo doesn't know how to live out in the country. So I had my dad watch Jaden since I was basically home to him. And my dad called me. He called me 5 times, actually. But my phone was on silent and I was sleeping. Jaden died. He lived to be 12 years old. Yeah. He's my only dog that died from old age. Either they were stolen, had to be put down because of a wound that would not heal. One of my dogs got into it with a wild animal, bit her. So it was like she wasn't eating. Yeah. I had to put her down. Anyway, somebody stole my pit bull. She was pregnant with mutts. I was so mad. The stray dog got in my pen. I was so mad. Anyway, but yeah, he died of old age. 12 years old. It was time for him. He had bad arthritis in his hips. He was in a lot of pain. But my dad said he was just walking slow that day. You know, just off. Just slow. So they brought him in the house. And apparently they had some antibiotic or something for a dog. And they had some crab meat. So they put some medicine in crab meat and gave it to Jaden. And then they put him in a kennel. And when they came back, he died. So, I buried him near Kedron. Little ways, I didn't know exactly where my dad buried Kedron, and I didn't want to dig him up. And it was hard. That Kansas soil is hard. I couldn't do it. Like, I could not do it. And my dad had broke his foot, so he really couldn't help me. And I was just like, Dad, I can't even break through the top. Like, I can't. He had to get one of those, what you call it? He's an exterminator, and when he does bait stations for termites, he has to drill holes into the ground to put the termite thing in. Well, he had to use that to break up the ground. Yeah. Kansas doesn't get rain like Oregon. Oregon soil is not like that. So yeah, but we buried Jaden. Yeah. And then my other two animals, I don't have an attachment really to them. I didn't have them for very long. One was a panda hamster. My dad called it a rat. It wasn't a rat. It wasn't a mouse. A hamster kind of looks like a mouse. Anyway, but it was a girl. And I kept wanting to call it little guy. Hey, little guy. I wanted to keep saying that. So I named her Lily. Little guy, Lily, same thing. Kind of roll off your tongue. I call her Lily. I gave her to a lady I worked with because I was about to go to school. I was about to go to PTA school. So I arranged for my dogs to stay with my dad. And then I had these two animals. So I gave her to a lady I worked with. And then I advertised the other animal. Oh, my hand. I can't hold the phone like that. Oh, my God. Shit. Then the last one. So I had 4 of them. So there's Kedron, Jaden, Lily, and then Leo. My hand. Oh, my hand. Leo was a cat. This cat, I worked at a greenhouse. They call it a greenhouse. I was a CNA, and there was houses that had like 10 people in them, and there was 2 workers and a nurse. So a CNA, a CMA, and a nurse. And we would cook for them. It'd be like their own little house, We'd cook for them, we'd bathe them. They had their own little room, But it was in a house, and there was only 10 of them. So it was very personal. Anyway, this cat just started showing up. And so we would feed it. Of course, we would feed it, and it would keep coming back, of course, because it's food. And the workers were like, somebody needs to take this cat home. Well, I had 2 dogs. I had Keedron and I had Jaden, a boxer and a Chug. I didn't know how well a cat would do, but nobody would take him. So I finally took him home. I kept him in my laundry room for a while. It was detached to the garage. So he had his own room, and it was warm. But I didn't know how they would react. So I kept him in there for a little while. Maybe a day or 2. I don't know. But I would let the dogs out. I would let the dogs out because it was a fenced-in yard. So I'd let the dogs out. But then when I do that, I'd let Leo into the house and the dogs outside. So he didn't stay in that room. I just kept them separate. At night, he stayed in that room. But I put a bed in there for him. So one time, I decided to leave Leo in the house and let the dogs back in. It went really well, actually. They just kind of sniffed each other and walked off. Yeah. I was just like, huh, okay. Anyway. But Leo happened to not be a stray. Because there was this advertisement of neutering stray cats. Yeah. And I was like, okay, well, he was a stray, so then he should get neutered, right? So I brought him to the vet, and I said, well, this is a stray cat that I found, and, if you want to neuter him, you can. Otherwise, I'll keep him, whatever. And he ended up having a chip in him. And they tried to contact his owner. But his owner never returned their calls. So I brought him home. But what makes me mad, though, is they cut a chip of his ear off. Like, it was like a little triangle, like, shaped down in his ear. It was like they were marking the cats because they're strays. So they probably set them all loose. So they want to know which ones they did and which ones they didn't. Well, this cat had a chip in it. Why would you do that to somebody's cat? You know what I mean? It's not a stray. I was not very happy. But I was happy that I was able to bring him back home. So I advertised him, and I ended up selling. I had to put some type of price on it, but I had cat food, and I had this, and I had that, and there's toys, and, what I gave them was a lot more than what they gave me. And a cat, yeah. But I gave it to a lady that, she introduced me to her church. She's very nice. And I went to that church until I moved. And it was like 30 minutes away. A Life Church or something like that. I contacted her, or we spoke, whatever, I didn't contact her, but we spoke a while back, and I asked her how Leo was doing. And she said that Leo actually lives with her mother's friend or something. And that he is spoiled. Good note. Yes. Yeah. He went from being somebody's pet to a stray to not being wanted back to me, and then to another place that spoils him. Probably even more than me, because I had 3 animals. When I had Leo, I had 4 animals. I had 4 animals when I had Leo. No, I had added Lily a little later. But I already had Keydron. I already had Jaden. And then Leo came. And then I went to a pet store. And they had a deal. I'm so about deals. So if you buy something, you can get a free hamster. Yes. So I bought something and I got a free hamster. Yeah, I don't know if it was anything, but yeah, that's how it happened. Anyway, Leo's living a great life. Yeah. I don't know what happened to Lily, though. I don't know how long hamsters live. I'm sure she still has it. Or somebody has her. Anyway, it's getting late. I'm sorry. I've been talking for 36 minutes. Well, that mattress. Jody said to take ibuprofen because that mattress probably caused me some pain, which I'm not looking forward to because I'm already in pain. So I don't know if I'm going to like that bed. I'm going to give it a shot. I just have a bad feeling about it. Anyway, she said take ibuprofen. I told her ibuprofen doesn't do anything. It doesn't. I probably take some anyway, but it doesn't. I take 4 of them. Because you can take 800 milligrams in one day. So I take 800 milligrams in one dose. Yes. I think it's one day. I don't know. But you can take 4. If you're an adult, check with your doctor. Don't take my word for it. But according to my mom, who's a nurse, you can take 4. But it don't do nothing. And I told Jody that. I said, it doesn't do anything. She said, well, smoke a lot of weed. That's what she said. Directly, yes. And I kind of looked at her. I said, okay. I'm going to say, Jody said, smoke a lot of weed. Oh. But we don't do much to me either, it seems like. I don't know. Unless it's like a joint. But if you just hit it from a pipe, I guess I just don't smoke enough for it to actually do something. But I still have my CBD THC oil stuff. So I took some of that. So hopefully the CBD will do something. I was talking to a guy at the dispensary. And I told him that I had that. And what it did for me. Because it let me be able to close my hands a little bit. Like before, I couldn't do nothing. I couldn't do nothing with my hands. I couldn't even massage my other hand. Like, it was ridiculous. And he said that it's the CBD in it. Because the CBD actually helps with inflammation. Which I didn't know. I didn't know what aspect of it was helping. So I wonder what the THC does that's in it. There's only 2 milligrams. Yeah, 2 milligrams. And there's like 500 milligrams of CBD or something. Anyway, I gotta take that stuff out of the wash. Hopefully the water has drained out of it. What's up, Moose? You need to stop stealing my clothes. I swear. Last time he was here, he would take clothes out of my laundry basket. Which I didn't come. Excuse you. Oh my gosh. Did you hear that? Yes. What were you eating that was so whatever? This is what I was talking about. If I could turn this camera around, I'll make another video. Let's see. Dang it. Dang it, Moose. I'll have to make a video. It's priceless. His face. Yeah. It just makes me think, why would you want to put your animal in a cage if he could be like this? Anyway, so I gotta go just take that stuff out of the wash. Hopefully the water's drained. Till next time.